Hello and welcome to Cinema Gulp. My name is Scotty R37.
And I'm Ben here on Cinema Gulp as well, sir.
And today we are very excited to be revisiting one of both of our favorite Billy Crystal movies that stars the inimitable
Gregory Hines?
From 1986, directed by Peter Hyams. We are certainly going to be talking about Running Scared.
Yeah, it's my favorite Billy Crystal movie. City Slickers is fun, but this is by far my favorite of his. He was right at that ripe age of 35 years old when he made this movie, and height of his like comedic talents with doing those shows that he was doing, those sketch things with that "You look marvelous."
You look marvelous. Absolutely marvelous.
He's throwing out so many one-liners in this movie that you don't notice when you're young. And then you hear him, and he's so good with this like sarcasm, this sneaky. It's almost, I want to say like almost after this rewatch, like Vince Vaughn took some stuff from Billy Crystal.
Kemosabe's going to have some flavor. I'm going to choose not to eat with you.
Just these kind of side jokes he says that kind of bypass you unless you're paying attention. It's pretty great. And I'll say right now, I think this is the most underrated and underseen buddy cop action comedy movie, not just of the 80s, but ever. It's so underrated, and it's not talked about that much in the conversation with your Lethal Weapons and your 48 Hours, you know, all the other ones that are in there. And it should be, because it fits it almost is the mold before the mold was there.
Oh, definitely pioneers for it, and also gritty. Like it's not flippant, and it's not vulgar either. Like going back and revisiting something like 48 Hours, you're like, oh wow, 80s.
That movie's racist.
Yeah. And also not as dark. And so when the buddy cop comedy is like, it definitely leans into the comedy, but I definitely think it's my favorite Billy Crystal movie simply because he handles the drama in the third act really, really well.
He becomes the action hero. Yeah.
It's so good, like the banter, the back and forth, but it's really, really lighthearted, but it still has the weight of the villain. It has the grit of the genre of being not just a buddy cop movie, but a cop movie. And with that level of sarcasm, you think of someone like Chevy Chase or Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, there's a bit of a Fletch element to Ray Costanza, Billy Crystal's character. Whereas Fletch, it's showcased so hard in your face, which I love. The one thing I love about Billy Crystal in this movie is it's almost out the side of his mouth. Some of the funniest stuff he says, it just is just like when they're, hey, that's Julio's car. Who the hell are you guys? Oh, I'm sorry. We're the Noise Busters. Do you guys know where the Menudo concert is?
The chemistry between Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines is incredible. And it would be sort of a showboating performance from Billy Crystal if he didn't sort of, as a performer, open it up so Gregory Hines could play with him. And they wouldn't try and top each other, but they would definitely complement the best moments. Like there is a moment when, oh no, the guy missed the Bible question on Jeopardy because he didn't know who Deuteronomy was.
Martha, can I get some more petite marshmallows and my hot cocoa? Sorry, I gotta go now. Final Jeopardy's on.
So when you get Billy Crystal and someone like Gregory Hines, who is like a theater arts guy, a tap dancer, I want to say musical theater, but I could be wrong, more of a serious actor, he's equally as fucking funny in this movie. And it's such a great pairing. Before there was Martin Riggs and, Roger Murtaugh, exact amount of screen time. There's no one that overshadows either one of them. They have such a bond, and these two actors together, it's just, I know it's, very cliche, but it's fucking magic.
Well, and I think the contrast between the other buddy cop movies that there are is usually it's like, one from the wrong side of the tracks, and the other one is as straight-laced like Tango and Cash.
He's a criminal's worst nightmare, a cop who enjoys the danger. He was ready to retire. Now, he's gonna wish he had.
Gun!
But in this one, we start off and they're best friends. They've been doing it for ages and ages, and so you do have fun traveling with them. This is kind of reminding me of Ferris Bueller's Day Off with guns.
That's funny that you say that, Scotty, because I think this movie's in the conversation as one of the greatest Chicago movies of all time, along with Ferris Bueller, The Untouchables, The Fugitive, but it shows a grittier, filthier side of it. A lot of it, especially the opening act, it doesn't really show a lot of South Loop or downtown until the end. It shows the grimier stuff, the trash barrels with the fires going on and people playing basketball and these rundown apartment complexes. Billy Crystal always has either I think the first time you see him, he has a Blackhawks shirt. Then later he has Cubs. I don't think he ever wears a Bulls thing, which kind of pisses me off. No Bulls, which sucks. But yeah, he's got the Cubs, and it's very Chicago. It's spewing Chicago. And it really extinguishes itself from other buddy cop comedies that this movie takes that time out of its runtime to do this vacation thing. But when you really think about it, as you get older, you see the movie more times and you watch it as an adult and you take vacations yourself, you're like, that's why the movie is named this. Because when they get back, they're a little bit more timid and nervous about getting into these situations, where at the beginning they're inviting that shit, and then they're kind of forced to go take a vacation. And from the vacation, it looks like they're fucking a chick every night, like a different chick every night. Also, what a fucking banger soundtrack. Oh my God. Fucking
yes.
Sweet Freedom. Was like number one on the charts for a long time. Fucking Michael McDonald.
If you don't take this Michael McDonald DVD that you've been playing for 2 years straight off, I'm going to kill everyone in the store and put a bullet in my brain.
The cast is stellar, and I think that is a great credit to Peter Hyams.
A post Scarface Stephen Bauer playing a small role. Obviously, you got the young Jimmy Smits and the young Joey Pants. Everybody loves Joey. Fucking Snake is a scene stealer in this movie, until he meets his end. And then you have a young Uncle Rico.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
I'm always trying to remember what I remember him from. But yeah, no, John Grease is a guy that is like everywhere.
He was in like Real Genius. He was in so many things in the 80s.
I love it whenever I see Dan Hedaya. He plays the captain here. Darlene Flugel was in To Live and Die in L.A. She plays Anna Costanzo.
She's kind of a weak link in this movie. Her character makes no sense, and I don't know if the dentist was real. It's almost like at the end, Ray kind of calls her out on it on the bluff.
So what happened to that dentist?
Who?
Right.
So there was no dentist?
I have a theory that there is no dentist.
I don't think there's a dentist, which makes her weird, because that's a crazy lie that I'm getting married. Like, how are you going to follow through with that? A sequel was discussed. Billy Crystal, Gregory Hines reportedly turned down every script for a sequel that was presented. There just wasn't anything that they were interested in. And I kind of respect that. The movie did well enough. I want to say it made about $40 million for 1986. That's pretty fucking good. I still can't find a budget for this movie, but in 86, there were some pretty elaborate stunts though. This movie has one of my favorite car chases ever that ends up on the L, because to me, average car chases in movies are pretty boring. You know what you're gonna get. We're turning around the corner and they're gonna drift and ramming into each other. This one ends up on the fucking L tracks, and it's really cool.
Like based on 1986, probably filmed in 1985. And you know that it's practical. They're going around everywhere. I loved it. Apparently they busted up the suspension of like 3 or 4 of those cars riding on train tracks.
And I love how the director keeps focusing on how the tires are holding up and the suspension is holding up, like just so you're not like completely going, this is ridiculous. Like it shows that it's fucking these cars up.
Not only is it fucking the cars up, but also like when they do make a quick turn or something, it shows that it's going with the tracks. And so you're never confused as to how it works.
The action in this movie is better than it had any right to be. It's the quintessential perfect buddy cop comedy. Like it has everything that they would go on to have. And it's not the first, but I think it's the prototype of how you do it correctly. They're already partners. We don't need this like, oh, I don't like you, you don't like me, let's spend half the movie not liking each other, and then we do. No, these guys, it seems like, it's never said, but it seems like they went through the academy together and somehow ended up as partners because they've known each other the entire time they've been cops. The movie opens up, obviously, like every 80s movie, with a song showing parts of Chicago, just the gritty, grimy, filthy side of Chicago, just darker elements of it. Then we meet these two cops who are just sitting there, and great way to introduce the characters. They go up and fuck with these basketball guys, even though it has nothing to do with anything. They just enjoy doing it while they're waiting because they're on some kind of a stakeout. And then there they see Jimmy Smits. Honestly, again, another kind of menacing, but like you said, lighthearted villain. He's not lighthearted. He's the scary part of the movie, but he even shares in some of the funny scenes, which we'll get to with the pants and all that stuff. They disarm him enough to not be like super serious and gross. You know, it's all very fun and easy. Like, he's a drug dealer and that's it. But Jimmy Smits plays them with gravitas, so it has elements to it.
He is sort of a one-dimensional character. Like, we learned that he has ambition and he wants to be the new Al Capone of Chicago. He's still trying to be somewhat of a man of the people. Like, there's even an interaction that he has with the clergy that says, "Oh, Mr. Garcia is an upstanding member of our community."
Yeah,
so
but I mean, he's using them.
The charming aspect, as opposed to, like, he's not the claw hammer killer from Cobra.
The people of the city seem to love him instead of fear him, which almost leads me to believe like he's almost like a Robin Hood or something. Because when that scene, I love when they're driving around in his car, everyone's like, oh, they're not like, oh my God, it's Julio. They're like, oh, it's Julio. Like, they love him. Again, it all goes back to, where's my shipment? The shipment's coming in, you know, but that's just the way it was, you know. It was, capers were never complex. The mystery was never the point, you know. And they say the line that every 80s movie has to have, give me the briefcase.
I have this gun here. I'm going to take the gun out, and I'm going to shoot a lot of holes in the door. If you are standing in front of the door, what can I tell you? Some of those holes are going to be in you.
And then they just fuck with them so bad. Hey, what's it? Like, these cops would be fucking written up every single fucking day. Like,
oh yeah,
the way they treat him with no probable cause is crazy.
Absolutely. They are just sort of, they're detectives, but sort of beat cops who are shaking down, I guess, their thinks. And so I do appreciate that. But if you're looking at this film for police procedural correctness, it's not it. This is an 80s action movie with two cops, and I wouldn't hold it to the highest regard in terms of departmental procedure.
Juan Martinez has them up in the trash compactor, and they get out, and they just start shooting their guns. They don't even know who's down there. It could be anybody. There's no like, hey, freeze, get out of the car. They just they just unload into that thing without seeing who they're shooting at.
Hey guys, there's $50,000 up here.
Hey, we're gonna hire a neighborhood watch to protect this guy who has $50,000. Is there any takers? Like I said again, $50,000.
Snake is like, he didn't do that, and Gregory Hines is like, he did do that. The thing is, he can't undo that.
Where are we going? He's like, I got to go to my Aunt Rose's funeral. And it's like, what? Snake's like, what the fuck is going on? And then they bring him out. He's like, and Snake has this charm to him. He's like, I can't go to a funeral. I'm not dressed right. I can't show up like this. Well, showcasing these guys right off the bat, you know everything you need to know. And I'm glad that it took its time because, Peter Hyams took the time to, like, in a very entertaining way, have the first, not full act, but the first half of the first act, it all in one day, kind of showing the dynamic between the partners, showing how they do their job, and then also showing their personal lives. Not only do you get his love for his Aunt Rose and the fact that he's going to get some money, but you also get his ex-wife in that scene. and her friendship with Ray, which is very strong. You get a lot of, they kiss each other a lot in this fucking movie. Wouldn't you know it, they get held up at gunpoint. Well, again, in Chicago, in the area that's in, that's not really that far-fetched. 3 dudes would get held up by these guys with 22 pistols that probably just want smack. Or you can have the cash, but we're going to need the wallets back because our badges are in there.
Once the punks start running because they realize that they're not, getting away with shit, it's like, are you ready? Should we go? They're like, what do you mean you don't want to be a cop? What other job can you have if you can't shoot people?
It's so immature for all of them to say, but and that's a constant theme in this movie, which makes me love it even more, is that like people are always talking about how immature these 2 guys are and they won't grow up, but they're really good at their job. But when you see like Danny's apartment, he's got like pinball machines, and it's almost like the guy from Fever Pitch. Like everything in there is a fucking sports memorabilia, They never break from constantly being funny and sarcastic, and obviously until the end. The end is where shit has to go down, so there's not as much funny banter or one-liners, obviously until the very, very end. And that's another great thing. These guys knew the assignment. Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal, they knew, be funny together, banter, argue, be on the same side, banter with other people in the cast, and then also know how to be cops and make it believable at the end that you could do your job and do what you do. Because the last thing you want to do is come off as Ace Ventura and then be like, well, I don't believe that this guy could take down this drug cartel. No way. They never go too far where you wouldn't think that these guys could do their job.
My sense of humor, that sense of humor that makes those other characters funny, is what I'm putting into this. And I am playing a white guy, which is a stretch for me.
As the movie progresses, they have no problem sharing. And then when they do say, it's like, why do you get to do all the dangerous stuff? And all I get to do is parallel park.
And everything around it works too. Again, like the director just understood that this is a comedy first and foremost, but it's 49 to 51 or 51 to 49 comedy and cop action. They get Snake in, they kind of fuck with him, they put him in the lineup, which is funny. I love the lineup scene where he's like,
that is definitely the one, you bastard.
Sounds like Julio is beating the shit out of Snake, but Snake is got their number. He's fucking with them. Snake kind of gets a one-over on those guys. Police, nobody move. It's like Snake and Julio just standing there. I love those 1980s movie Uzis too. They're just
everybody needs.
Then Julio kills Snake, and you're like, oh shit, this movie, that's your first death. And you're like, oh, okay. So this movie is R-rated, not just for language, but it's violent. And then you meet your 2, Tweedledee, Tweedledum, younger cops. And eventually, like Danny and Ray easily find Julio and lock him up.
This is what you asked for. Heavy is the crowd. Fire in the sunrise.
And all of a sudden, Captain's like, you guys, if I see you in the city, I'll have you arrested. If I see you in the station, I'm gonna have you shot.
Ray and Danny fucked this up. They fucked it up.
They did.
Based on a briefcase full of $5,000, which, if you're dealing with snitches and this is a 1980s cop movie, you're gonna follow the money and then you're gonna get your guy.
The movie completely takes a 180. We get this fucking brilliant, arguably my favorite part of the movie, the Key West scene, the clothes that they wear during the whole fucking
so
dude, they're wearing the fucking they look like lollipops. The thing that I've always said makes this movie so different than other buddy cop comedies in the genre, or even just actions, not comedies, they go on vacation after the first act of this movie, and it's a lot of screen time, and it's absolutely phenomenal and funny, and it shifts not only the tone of the movie, but it shifts the location, so they end up in Key West. So now you go from this like cold, shitty, gritty, grimy, slimy Chicago city to this beautiful seaside, resort area that they're in. Is this movie going to be this now? Like, you almost don't know. Is this the rest of the movie?
Like, you don't know.
Or is it just going to be a fucking comedy vacation movie? You don't know. It's brilliant.
And it's one of the things that I really have to highlight about Peter Hyams. He is the executive producer on this film, He is the director of photography on this film and the director. And one of Peter Hyam's trademarks for when he shoots, he is a stickler for natural lighting. He does not want a light source or he doesn't want any lighting on set that doesn't come from a light source that you can see on set. It's almost Kubrickian. Like, this sequence of them in Key West is so vibrant and well shot, and it looks fun, and they're having a blast with it. Like, there's some static shots, like the bit where Ray is fighting with the Marlin.
I love that scene.
I love that, but it's a little locked down. Everything else is so kinetic. You don't notice it as much just because there is so much going on with the two chicks that come out and they say it's lunchtime and Billy Crystal's pouring beer into Gregory Hines' mouth.
He's just dropping it on him, dude. He's hardly putting it.
He swims, and then he jumps. And then he swims, and then he jumps.
It puts you right in their shoes. Like, these guys really did need this. They were wound up so tight, and they're having such a fucking blast. And this is where you're like, okay, these guys, fuck the academy. These guys have known each other their whole lives. I don't see how that'd be possible that they would be childhood friends, go to the academy together, and then end up with partners. But that's the way the movie makes you feel. Therefore, you care. Some of the editing I really like, even though it's very simplistic. When they're on the mopeds, and it's a different chick on the back of both of their mopeds. It's like, how many chicks are these guys fucking?
There's tank tops, there's short, they're on roller skates.
Dude, they're on roller skates wearing the most ridiculous clothes. But it was 1986. I get it, I guess, but holy shit. This sequence dates the movie more than anything else because of the clothes. Because otherwise, they're just in Chicago and everybody's just wearing coats and shit. But I mean, I love it. I fucking love this whole scene. And it's a long scene. I mean, you know, it plays at least throughout the entire shout, sweet freedom, shout a lot on me, you are the murder. You're right where I wanna be. But I mean, even that song, it's like, you're like, what is happening right now with this movie? Are we going back to Chicago? And then they decide to buy a bar and retire.
Ray's not 100% on board with it.
No.
And then, but finally, like, it's just like, but I don't want to get shot at. And this is where the running scared, is where the scared part comes in.
His biggest thing that convinced him was when he says, you know, it's just like being a cop. We'll break up some fights, we'll argue with some drunks, and if we're lucky, we will get robbed.
It's like, yeah, let's do it. And then they go and they wear their short shorts and their tank tops and their roller skates into the bank, sign for the bar, and
when they shake the hand of the banker and they're in their fucking tank top tees, belly shirts, both on roller skates, and then they get out, it's just... what? It looks really weird. But then they fuck off from Key West, and a great transition where you just see the beautiful sand of Key West, and then the song ends and it cuts to these kids in honking horns and snow of Chicago. Great fucking transition. Love that edit. Danny's got the big Marlin hat on with remember those hats?
The clapping fish, as they are going to Dan Hedaya to say, we quit, we're done, we're out, bye-bye.
Billy Crystal's wearing like this fucking crazy fucking Jimmy Buffett shirt, and then he goes, Gonzalez went free, and they both turn around and it gets serious right there, and they're like, oh fuck. You never know why there's this personal vendetta, like why they care so much about Gonzalez, because they always drop you in the middle of that.
One of the things that they the reason that they get into the investigation before they go on vacation is because a cop was drowned and thrown off a building, and he's like, we're trying to save people.
The first thing that happens is they're told that they have to train new guys since they're leaving, and then they find out the new guys are those two asshole hotheads that, well, let's say it, they saved them. They were going to die. So they're not total assholes. They saved their lives. But they do kind of act like pricks for the rest of the movie until the very end. But they spend a lot of the movie just trying to divert their attention to get away from those guys. But there's some really funny dynamics when those two guys come into it. The first thing they go out to do is they go to this rundown apartment complex, and that's where you get the first action scene back in Chicago, where Ray goes to kick in the door and his foot just goes through and gets stuck. And the two hothead younger cops are shooting everywhere. And this is where a lot of death happens. Like a bunch of people are getting shot. And Danny even gets shot by Uncle Rico. That action scene is great. It puts you right back. You're like, okay, now we're back. Now it's even a little bit more dire, a little bit more serious. They're like, where are you? I'm in Key West.
Well, and they do when they're sort of suiting up to go to check out this tenement, if you will.
Oh yeah, they get the vests.
Yeah, where are you stationed? Beirut? I'm using it for lower back support.
Once they get back from Key West and in Chicago, the movie really finds its footing for the next, 45 minutes, because now they're playing it a little bit more safe. But at the end of the day, they still are very heroic guys. Another one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when they go to the old lady's apartment. As Billy Crystal is talking to the old lady, this kid is just flipping the bird to Ray constantly, and Ray gets his revenge at the end.
Yes!
And the kid is behind Rosa from Die Hard, another Die Hard alumnus.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding.
Is that the
housekeeper?
The nanny? Is this in the Valverde verse?
It might be.
It's like Gregory Hines fucking dialing it up and going, I'm funny, and he's just naturally funny in this movie. They turn their fucking cop car into a Ace. I love that actor that plays Ace. Yeah, you want some machine guns on this? Just give me 2 more days. But he gives them like plexiglass, like bulletproof glass, but they can't roll the windows down, which plays such a great, significant part in some of the action scenes, like more than one. Like it's great that they're driving around in this taxi cab.
I don't know. It's kind of like a play on a Q scene from a James Bond movie.
Absolutely. Don't they say that?
I feel like James Bond.
Larry Hankin plays Ace.
That his name? I love that guy. Like, he's kind of like that guy. You've seen him in shit. You've seen him in lots of shit. Distinguishing itself from other buddy cop comedies. Now they're driving around in this taxi cab that's got a serial number. It's like a full-blown taxi cab with a meter. There's that great scene after the after the car chase where he's like,
"Hey, Father, you and your wife owe me $28.50.
I love it when he refers to the nun as
"Sit back, Zorro."
The promotional art on the VHS covers and on the laser disc and on the DVD and on the Blu-ray. The best one, in my opinion, is the shot of them leaning against that car before it gets turned into the taxi when they're smoking cigars, which is a celebratory dance that they do after every bust or arrest. I don't know which. And it is them beside the lime green Buick or Plymouth or whatever it is. And it says unmarked police car in spray paint. And that's why they get it all gussied up into the taxi cab. I love that poster. I love that poster.
That's the original best poster, where they're both just arms crossed, cigars, smoke's coming up, and you see the grimy kind of brick wall Chicago buildings behind him. Yeah, that's the best one. Juan Martinez, who they find, who they just keep believing every time, and he's a complete piece of shit, and one of Julio's henchmen, but he keeps telling them like, yeah, here's the shipment, it's coming here. So he leads everybody on this wild goose chase to pick up a bunch of fake cocaine from this airplane, which is pretty funny because you get the scene where the guy's like, this shit is shit. What do you mean? The shit is bad? No, the shit is shit.
I mean bad shit.
Bad shit like the shit is bad?
It's shit. This shit isn't worth shit.
Street slang versus hoity-toity, but it's like, this shit is bad.
It's good shit, right?
I mean bad shit.
You mean that this is some bad shit?
It's shit. This shit isn't worth shit.
Anybody caught on the street with this would get killed. And that's when they go, okay, so it's just not cocaine at all.
It's not good.
There's barely enough coke in here to attract the dogs.
It's almost like a who's on first, but it lasts like 5 seconds.
Yeah, it is. Because they're trying to figure out what the fuck this guy's trying to say. We got to talk about the best action scene in this movie. The awesome car chase through downtown Chicago that ends up on the L train tracks. The only rewatching it last night, I'm like, man, it's so well shot, so well directed. The stunts are great. Everything is so cool the way they're doing it, but I don't like the music that's playing during it. It was just a little 80s corny when it should have been a little more like, wow, this is the action set piece that probably cost the most in this movie. It should sound a little bit more action-y and serious. It's a small nitpick because I love that scene. I almost want to put Sabotage over it, dude.
You totally, absolutely should. And that's why I sort of draw a little bit of a comparison to something like Fletch in terms of the sarcasm, and there's not as much weight in Fletch, and we've already discussed it at length. And I love Fletch, but it kind of reminds me of the same music. It didn't take me out of it at all because I was in awe of what was going on in terms of the car chase, crashing into things and driving in between the train tracks until all is going all haywire. And then we get on the train tracks and it is just, it's fantastic. But you know what? I could also hear, like, it didn't take me out, but I can understand where you're coming from, where it reminds me somewhat of that car chase in Fletch. Fletch, get out of town.
The post-production crew in the 80s was trying to go like, how can we make it fun instead of so intense? Where I feel, and that's where 48 Hours succeeds so well, is that when it's funny, it's funny. And when it's time to get serious, that movie is dead fucking serious. Like, the villains are awful. They're horrible people. Like, the deaths are crazy. Like, that's the one thing I always love about 48 Hours is, like, it is scary when the villains are on screen. But when they're not, it's funny. Like, it's so inventive that they're going on the opposite direction of the L train in downtown Chicago. It's so fucking cool. It needs some Sabotage. Or it needs some Hans Zimmer. I don't know.
Not only do you see, like, from the POV of the front of the cab of Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines' car, but you also get to see Jimmy Smits in the back of the limo. You get to see the Penguin and his wife. There's far away shots, so you get to see establishing shots, so it's not like you feel like you're being faked out by magic.
The camera work and the editing match so well to make a car chase interesting, because a lot of directors take car chases and they just think because there's a car chase on screen that it's going to be interesting, and most of the time it's not. When you get movies like French Connection, you're like, oh, okay, that's how you do a car chase. And Ronin, that's how you do a car chase. Gone in 60 Seconds, that's a car chase. Like, there's a craft to it. And this movie, even though you only really get that one, it really utilizes everything that is unique about a car chase. Like, they really no longer have any control over where they're going. It's just who can get to who fast. Like, they're on the same track. It's not like you can go off to the right and take a right down L Street, like, you're there. Like, it's almost like, where was Jimmy Smits' driver trying to go? Like, what's the end game here?
Sort of the reinforcement, no pun intended, of because Jimmy Smits pulls out the Uzi and starts shooting at the car, or shooting at the cab, the cop car with Danny and Ray, and they're both like, "Holy crap, it worked!"
I don't know what's going on. Like, while the bullets are going, and he's like, "Oh."
Pulling faces. It's so great.
4763. Pursuit has left the interstate. Now we're on the L.
it looks like Ray is playing chicken with a train. And then at the very last minute, and logically, visually, there is a turnoff. He turns off, and then Gregory Hines, you chicken shit! Chicken shit! Those throwaway lines that are just so great, and the intensity of it, while still being funny, but still feeling the weight of the emergency that you are currently a part of.
And a scene that really well represents that is when they find Julio's girlfriend's place, and a great ass shot, by the way. They're chasing Julio out of this big building up on these high floors, and he grabs this just absolutely obnoxious woman who just cannot stop fucking screaming. Throw me your goddamn pants. Billy Crystal throws the pants down first and he doesn't catch him. It's just like, it's a scene where you're like, wow, someone's life is on the line. This is super intense. But then, Jimmy Smits goes like, stop screwing around. And he goes, I'm not screwing around. I threw you my pants. Is it my problem that you can't catch? The script, just like, why is that scene there? Like, why are we having a scene where the main bad guy is asking the two heroes to throw them their pants?
As long as we keep on our pants.
I don't know if it was because Gregory Hines was doing too much of a spread to steady himself to shoot, but I really thought that Billy Crystal had the better ass.
So once their car gets fucked up in the in the trash compactor, they take Julio's car and they start driving around. We talked about this a little bit in the beginning. But it's really funny, and it plays another one of the songs on the soundtrack that became a #1 hit.
Standing in the shadows, calling out his name, waiting for a lover who wants to play my game.
Not quite as memorable as Michael McDonald's Sweet Freedom. First of all, why are there no buddy cop comedies anymore? And second of all, why don't they use a really popular band to make a really popular song to go with the movie? I know that you get your occasional ones. I miss that shit.
I guess it's part of the marketing. Like, I still love it when I see, the motion picture soundtrack is available on Columbia Records and Tapes.
Fuck yeah, man. Danny's wife comes to see him at his apartment, and we finally get a good look at his apartment. He's got a pinball machine. It's a man cave. They have an argument.
That's one of the best lines, and she starts picking up his clothes and everything. And just leave it there. Just leave it there. I've got a cleaning lady who comes every April.
You get how they still are absolutely still in love with each other in that scene. It seems like she wanted something else, but she's in love with him. But he doesn't want to change, but he's also in love with her.
Do want to analyze what I think you have brought up as being one of the most interesting questions about the film in total. Is she actually engaged to a dentist?
You'll be a dentist. You have a talent for causing things.
And
I don't think there is a dentist.
I think she went to the funeral, saw Danny, went to the station, and said, I'm getting married, to see. I think she was fucking with him. I think she was trying to see if she could make him jealous.
It's 100% right, because she never gives any details. There's nothing.
We never even get a name.
And that makes her more of a child than him.
So you're moving to Florida. And it's like, yeah, we're retiring. And it's like,
oh,
but it'll be boring. And is promptly damsel in distress. You're right.
Get me my Coke and you'll get your woman back. And I'll give you more instructions later. They know how it works around there. So they do that. And then you get the two hot shots that show up and, they knock them out. And then we end up, this is where we get our downtown Chicago scene, which is great. Like the fact that they're on the motorcycle because they don't have the car anymore. And I love that that's foreshadowed. You have the motorcycle's bin in Ray's apartment.
He just has it. It is basically his sex strobe light.
Like or sex alarm clock. Yeah.
Or sex alarm clock.
Rise and shine, Izumi! Get out and do your best today! Love, love!
This climax is excellent. Haynes said that he wanted this movie to remain earthbound and not showcase anything that the rest of the movie didn't show that these guys could do. And I respect the hell out of that. Like, so it is like, okay, so they're going to do some crazy shit, but it's not going to be like, whoa, where did these guys all of a sudden be able to do this? Like, it sticks with exactly what you've seen of these guys and their capabilities. Danny has to go in there with the drugs and try to save his wife, and he pretty much, he's unarmed. So it doesn't really make any sense why the armed guards are like, give us the drugs. He's like, no, you can't touch these till the girl goes free. It's like, well, he doesn't have a gun and you're going to kill him anyway. Why do you back off when he says that? Ray is out trying to figure out, can I get in through a freight elevator? How do I get to the top of this building so I can get the higher ground? There's no way. The armed guards who are like kidnapped are like, you got to use the window washer's fucking rig. Shit. Well, it looks like it would have taken 10 hours to set that thing up.
Yeah.
But even then, it looks like he's struggling to even get up like a couple of feet.
It's just a pile of rope. Don't you have to hang it from the top of the building first?
But it is funny and realistic that it's taken him so long. He's kind of dangling, like working really hard just to get a couple of feet. But then the next time we see him, he's already up at the very top of the building. You're like, oh shit.
The rate of speed that Ray was attempting to climb the state building, it would have taken him at least an hour. At least. That's movie making for you. Whatever.
Yeah,
the magic,
for sure.
The suspension of disbelief, and of course Gregory Hines can do it.
Exactly. Well, he's a tap dancer. He can do it. You know, I got your Coke. Here's the bags. And then they put Anna's elevator up with him. I mean, it's so tense. Again, this is an R-rated movie in '86. You don't know what's going to happen. You know, I mean, like you said, it's been lighthearted, but it's also serious at times. And I don't know what Julio's game plan was. If he's holding up a bunch of big bags of Coke and he has his henchmen shoot a bunch of machine guns into that, wouldn't that just blow holes in the Coke?
Danny figures out he's been double crossed. They shoot out the elevators. Get down!
Yeah.
Ray starts shooting in and taking out, cooking fools. And Danny's got an Uzi and his trusty revolver in the Coke bag. This is one of my favorite shots of the entire movie. And I know that we went, on a car chase through the L, but it's like, you want your Coke? Yeah. Come get it. And he throws this pillowcase of cocaine and we follow it all the way down from the elevator until it hits the ground and explodes all over the ground. And I'm just like, that looked great. I don't know. Maybe pillowcases exploding with cocaine is something that I'm like, boom. I love water balloons, cocaine balloons, doubly so. Although my only problem that I had with how much Coke there was, because it's like 4 pillowcases. It's not going in that duffel bag, but it's also not going to be like, because they make a big deal. Like they discover that it is actually the priest and the nun who have been smuggling the cocaine.
How did it turn into Coke?
Unbeknownst to them. Well, but I've seen enough 80s cocaine smuggling movies where you mix it with gasoline and then you can actually filter it out.
I thought that's where you were going because it was put into clay or whatever.
Yeah, it was put into clay, and or sometimes they make it into like golf balls or something. And it's like, I've seen enough of this to know, but it's like there wasn't enough of those clay pots to make that much cocaine. So the shipment did come with the clergy.
Yes, but the bigger gripe is like he did not have 4 bags of those in that duffel bag.
No fucking way.
Ray finally zipping down, and it takes him a few minutes. Like, I love how he's swinging back and forth while all the action's happening. And then you get your 2 young hotheads that come in. They do a good job. They kill a couple bad guys, but then they run out of bullets. Gregory Hines finally gets his footing on that thing, laying shit out. And it's a great, I love that practical effects where you have your squibs, but you also have like the plants, the pottery blowing up around the guy. What a great action set piece. Very inventive, interesting, different, funny, fun. The director wanted to keep it sort of grounded, so it didn't have this kind of epic showdown between the bad guys and the good guys. It was Julio about to shoot the 2 young guys because they were out of bullets. And then you just see him get shot. And then you get the funny banter. I got him!
I got him! Well, shit! I got him!
And then obviously he goes for one more slasher horror movie.
Freeze! You drop your gun. Oh, these two right here, they're dead.
I thought you got him.
I thought you got him.
But again, it's just very small scale. They just shoot him and then brilliant. The 80s loved to do this. Show the aftermath of the villain's death. So he's coming down the escalator, his head hits it, and then his foot just keeps hitting it as the escalator's coming down. I love those details, man.
It does hold on it enough that there is sort of that click, 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 click of every time the step hits his foot. And I liked it. In fact, to the point that I think that was the greatest stunt of the entire film, simply because I didn't want Jimmy Smits to be back on the escalator.
I love that this movie does not give us a post-climactic wrap-up. It doesn't show us the two detectives getting awards or blah, blah, blah. It's an abrupt ending, but it's a very satisfying ending. They realize they want to stay cops, and they turn to the young guys and go, hey,
you guys want to buy a bar?
It is fantastic, and then also it's sort of paid off. They both, like Ray and Danny, both get shot. Ray in the leg, Danny in the shoulder. And he's like, I got shot. It's about time. Yeah, and then Anna's there, and then it's like, what happened to the dentist?
So what happened to that dentist?
Who?
Right.
I always thought that there was, under the credit crawl, there was them on a boat. It's just got a good heart. It's got a really good heart to it. You know, it's like, it's about, more than anything, it's about friendship. You know, and just like, there's no question these guys, they never argue about, hey, would you do this for me? Would you do this for me? There's no question throughout this entire movie. It's just, they will have each other's backs no matter what the fuck is going on. You know, R-rated movie, tits, ass, blood, guns, swears, drugs, booze, fishing, roller skating. It's a nice movie. It's really friendly. Like it
really is. Yeah.
I think originally it was a script that was based on two cops that were going to retire, and they were trying to get Gene Hackman and Paul Newman to do it. Oh, my stars. I think it was Tom Selleck and John Travolta. And Tom Selleck couldn't do it because of Magnum PI, and John Travolta's agent said no. A one of a kind in a pool of a million of the same kind of buddy cop comedies of the 80s and a little bit in the 90s, but it was really flourishing in the 80s. And this one sets itself apart. Your whole vacation scenario that just comes out of nowhere, and it just really differentiates itself from other ones. And then the Chicago setting works for me so much, especially after having lived in Chicago years after I saw this movie and appreciating it more for that. Favorite Gregory Hines movie? Favorite Billy Crystal movie? Favorite Jimmy Smits movie? If you have only listened to this conversation about Running Scared, and you have not yet seen the movie, don't think we've spoiled it. There is so much more to discover and watch it. It's under 2 hours. It is tight. It is great. If you have not seen Running Scared, seek it out, watch it. I give you my personal guarantee, and if that guarantee is not honored, I apologize. But yeah, you got to see this. You got to see this movie if you have not yet. You're in for a treat, and I don't think we have spoiled it. There's a difference between telling you what the plot was and feeling what the movie is like or about or anything. So if you haven't seen 1986's Running Scared, please do yourself a favor. It'll take 2 hours. We will see you the next time on Cinema Gulp, and don't forget, we drink your cinema.
I drink it up!